G'day everyone, it's time for another ring lap, which means going around the mighty Nurburgring in a piece of machinery that bends your understanding of the laws of physics. And I truly mean that because while this is a game, it's a simulator, you have to assume in good conscience on first principles that the Project Cars development team has got this simulation to somewhere approaching reality, to somewhere close, somewhere in the ballpark of what is physically possible. And when you think about that as you watch the speed at which these corners are coming at me, when you consider the multitude of inputs available to the simulation driver, in this case me, and the processing of those inputs to produce what will hopefully be a smooth ring lap, this being episode 5 of the ring lap series, when you consider all that, it's kind of mind-blowing that people do this in real life. It certainly bends my understanding of what it means to be a race driver. When you're sitting in the cockpit like this, instead of watching the car go past on a TV camera, it changes your perception of just how fast these things go. It's the afternoon at the Nürburgring, it's about 1500, and there's no rain or anything, unlike in several previous ring laps where I've just thrown all manner of weather conditions at the cars. This lap is sunny, the track is dry, and the vehicle in question is the BMW M1 the Pro car. Somewhat of an iconic vehicle, it was originally a joint venture between Lamborghini and BMW. The deal was nixed. BMW built the car themselves. It is the only ever production mid-engine BMW. It's got an inline 3.5 litre flat 6, and it is really quite something to get around this track. This is a very enjoyable ring lap, very different character to the earlier ring laps. In some ways similar to the 12C GT3 lap, because that lap was done in the dry as well. So this, like that lap, is more of a clean lap, I say as I saw at the wheel to stop a slide there. But this car is different, and I'll get to why a little bit later, but for now, just what is this car doing? Well, firstly, the initial bite, that turn-in, is just superlative. It is beyond, it's beyond the Lotus 49. It's certainly beyond the Ariel Atom, but that's not a really fair comparison because that car is just so frenetic and dominated by its engine. This car is just wonderfully balanced, just so precise. Every turn-in, this initial turn-in at what must be well over 120 kilometers an hour, is razor sharp. The back end does not play funny logos with you. You turn in, roll on the power gently, and move through the corner at a very rapid pace. You never feel like you're fighting this car around the corner, which is not necessarily a good or bad thing. I mean, wrestling the Ariel Atom V8 around this track in the morning fog was a tremendous experience, a very cool Project Cars simulation experience. This is a different experience. It's one in which you're not wrestling the car so much as being one with it, which I guess is a little bit ironic given it's called the M1. Never confuse it with the 1M, of course, which is a road car, a modern road car. This car was built in the 70s and 80s, late 70s and early 80s. And it was designed by a guy named Giorgio, so that's all you need to say. I mean, it is beautiful from the outside. I mean, this is the Pro car version, which means it was what they call a homodulation special, where I think that's the cleanest I've ever taken carriage corner. I mean, yes, I slowed down, but I was on the racing line, I was where I needed to be on the track. And it just felt smooth. It'll be a real test of the car up here on this particular left into right-hander, which I always bugger up. But this time, I really feel like I was a little wide of the line there, but it felt appropriate for the car. It felt very, very smooth. Got a 5-speed manual gearbox. And oh no, I've crushed it. I have absolutely crushed the car. But, I got around halfway through the lap. Let's see if I can still keep going. I'm actually not sure if oh look, there's a piece of the car on the track there. Oh, there's another piece just out in the left window. Oh dear. I can't see anything in the rearview mirror there. Oh man. Alright, I don't think I lost anything massive, but you can see the bonnet is bent. And you guys have got an external view, so you'll be able to see what's going wrong. I'm not sure if I turned full damage on before doing this lap, and I think and I've updated Project Cars to the latest developer build, And when you do that, I think it resets the damage setting from full damage to aesthetic. So what we might be dealing with here is a car that's just kind of been mangled on the outside but is totally fine underneath. And that's the nature of these simulators. If you're not checking the right boxes, it won't give you what you want. So what I want is full damage, but in this case I think what we've got is just aesthetic damage, but it's cool to look at anyway. Obviously not what I want. I want to be punished for my mistakes when doing these ring laps. But the car honestly feels fine, so I do think that I've just done cosmetic damage to it, and I don't think I've got the right box checked in the simulator. But geez, speaking of throttle response, right there, just a little bit of lift off to tighten the nose, and it just responds instantly. I was saying it's different to the 12C GT3 lap, and the reason is you can't do that kind of thing in the 12C GT3 or any other turbocharged race car that doesn't have some sort of torque infill system like the McLaren P1 does, to fill that torque gap between when you make an adjustment on the throttle to when you get a response. That time it takes the turbos to spool up and literally get the turbines. Oh, that was a white knuckle. That was a roller coaster ride right there. And the rear wing, I mean, I've just got the right amount of downforce. I don't feel like I'm running into an aerodynamic wall when I get up to a medium speed, which this car is not modestly powered. I'm not sure how much power it's got, but it's certainly a very, very fast car. But it's not a superlatively fast car in a straight line like, say, I'm trying to think of something like a Pagani Huayra or something. Oh, crap. I'm not going to hit anything, but that was... And I literally took my hand off the wheel there as I was being expressive in my commentary and almost stacked it again. But we didn't hit anything, and again, with damage off, it wouldn't have been a disaster anyway. So now we're coming into the final straight. I've got no idea how fast the car goes at the top end of the straight line. So what I was trying to say is in a car that's perhaps less than superlatively powered, like this one, they're still very, very fast, you can find you're hitting an aerodynamic wall, and I definitely don't feel like I'm doing that in this car. If anything, I feel like I'm under-geared for the track, because I'm now redlining out at 9,000 RPM, and I'm in 5th, and I've got nowhere else to go. But I mean, if I back off a little, and then accelerate again, the accelerated force is quite strong. I'm moving through the rev range there at quite a rate, so evidently it's got a way to go. So I want to see if I can adjust the gearing in this car and do this lap again later, off camera, for fun, with a taller 5th gear, and see what I can push the car out to. Did the whole lap on 1980s slick tyres, so once they got a little bit warmer, I got a little more grip, although last corner cheeky drift. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the 5th episode of Ring Laps. I'll see you all soon for another one across the line.